Hello there and welcome back. So in this part we're going to work on the bathroom a bit further. We're going to work on a toilet and a sort of bidet today. So I found a nice contemporary type a toilet to sort of match the squareness of the sink. So we're going to work on this today, and there's like a matching bidet, and they're going to go along this back wall here. So here's my current scene layers. I'll just pull it down so you can see a bit more. These two here, when these start to get long, which they are now, you can group these. If you're new to modo, what you can do, you can select two, like these ones here. These are just original bits, just in case we ever need any of the old geometry. But we don't actually need to look at them; they're just sitting here. So we'll select them both. We'll do Control and G, and that will just put them in basically just put them in a folder, just to group them together. So I'll just call that geometry, and then you can link anything you like together here. Like these sink bits, you could always select them too, and the sink taps, and just group those together, etc. I'm just going to put just so I don't get confused which the taps and what is the handles. Right, okay. So in this part, like I say, we're going to work on the toilet. So what we'll do, and both they're both basically built from the same bottom geometry. In fact, they're identical. This one's got a slight sort of a U-bend on the bottom, where that one hasn't. But that's nothing really too drastic in them. And this is just going to have a lid on it, as opposed to this one, which has got like a little tap thing. So we're only going to use these as guides. We're not going to break our back over these too much. So we're going to add a new mesh layer. I'm just going to call this toilet. We'll go over to a top view. Now I know the dimensions are here, 510, 380, 400. So what we're going to do, we're just going to basically drag out a box primitive there. So it's 510, 380, and then 400 high. Well, that's to the floor, don't forget. And we've got this this piece at the bottom, but go over to a perspective. So that's basically our toilet shape. So they're going to basically sit on this wall here, like that. Okay, let's just have a quick look at the photo. So basically the back edge, even though they're all curved basically, that's quite a predominant curve at the front there, and the back, all the edges are obviously slightly curved. So we're just going to basically make a. So I'm going to go over to a side view. I'm hitting W key just to select the transform. I'm just going to get this roughly, because I want to. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the bottom face, because obviously there is that U-bendy piece. So I'm just going to set it like maybe like that, and we're just going to have a slight U on the bottom there, because it is touching the ground almost. It is quite a. So maybe we could do with it being a bit bigger. Okay, we'll say it like that. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, like we always do, is I'm actually going to work on the B-Day one first, because they're both going to be the same, just going to have a lid on. So we'll work on the... Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Shift and D. I'm just going to subdivide this. Alright, we're going to go over this, hit the tab key, go over sub D. Now this bend, this curve here, is pretty much how I want it, but I do want it flat at the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to edges. I'm just going to select the edge around there. I'm going to hit the B key. I'm just going to click in the viewport. I'm just going to drag this out a bit, and that will give us that flat front and keep this predominantly curved. But now we're going to basically it's curved from here right the way to the middle. So we need to do a similar type thing to this. And basically we need to drag this out, so this is basically a cube, a square there. Okay, now we need to sort the back end out, because that's a real tight... Well, all the other edges are really tight, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select... I'm just double clicking, holding the shift key down, double clicking. Okay, I'm going to hit the B, rounding level of 1. Excuse me. So there's our basic shape done. Next we're going to sink in this top piece here. The toilet's always going to have the lid closed, so I'm not too worried about making like the inside of the toilet look like there's a U-bend and bits. I'll just save this one just in case it... Okay, so what we can do, this back piece here is pretty much where it needs to be. We just basically need to sink all these front bits. Okay, so we're going to need a few more edges. We're just going to select these ones here. We're going to need an edge. We'll just see what happens when we stick. I'm just going to hit the C key. I'm going to put this on 50%. Okay. Now it's going to leave a big section around there, which is what we don't want. That's slightly thicker. It might just be the camera perspective. I'm just slicing some extra geometry because I want to basically keep this as a square there, and that was sort of pulling in before. So it's getting better. Okay, so now I think the last little, it's getting pretty much where I want it now. We can imagine this bit drop down. I just need to sort this out so this is closer to this edge and not quite so thick there. So what we can do with that, we're going to hit the C key again. I'm going to basically cut an edge to the middle of that. Spacebar drop tool, C key again, cut, just to basically pull that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to go over to vert. I'm just going to pull it up there a bit and just see. Probably a bit too much. Okay, that's getting better. You can tweak these until you start losing your marbles, really. But so we're gonna, okay, we're gonna say that's there. If not, this part's going to be massive. So we're going to select these polys, and then we're going to hit the B key, and we're beveling these as a group, not as individual polys. So we need to, I'm just going to pull them in basically about the same distance as this sort of width for this poly there, just so we can keep the round and level roughly the same. I'm going to hold down the shift key, I'm going to click, I'm going to bring that down again, roughly about the same distance. I'm going to hold the shift key down, I'm going to click, we're going to pull that down. You can also taper these and that and scale these if you want. So we'll do that. I'm going to hit the W key. I'm going to just pull that just so the back face is flat but the front is slightly curved. Might look quite nice. So even though we've got them images, we're only using it as a sort of guide. That's the beauty of doing these sort of doodles, as I call them. You can play around. So now we're at this stage, we still need to bevel this again. We need to hit B, click in the viewport, down again by that sort of distance. Shift, click, down again, and then spacebar drop tool, and that'll just basically keep these rims nice and tight. Okay, so I'm happy with that. It looks, I'm not sure what the inside, I think the inside is probably just vertical, but like I say, we're going to have a little bit of license with it. So that's the basic sort of bidet and toilet shape. So I'm going to select all them, I'm going to copy them, I'm going to add a new item, I'm going to put it in, I'm going to call this original toilet geometry. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to drag it into my just in case, because we're going to need that to come back to do the sort of the toilet and the bidet. So we're going to put this little chrome like overflow in there. I still need to do the caps, you know, for these other overflows and plugs and that, so we mustn't forget to come back. I'm going to select 2, I'm going to hit the L key to loop round, and I'm going to do Alt C and just click in the viewport. We want a count of 2 to have 2 lines, and I'm going to just pull these right down. If you want to have them free so you can move them rather than moving them up at a later time, you can just put them on free. Where was this one? Up here. And this one back there. We're also going to go over to edges. You can cycle through these, by the way, by hitting the spacebar instead of clicking up here if you want. We're going to select that middle row, hit the B key. I'm going to bring these out just so these are roughly 2 cubes in there. Making any extra edges in the middle is not going to affect the curvature at all. I'm just going to select those 2. Actually, I'm going to pull these in just because I do want them quite square. That's better. Okay, we're going to select those 2. Now we do the same again. B key, click in a little bit, shift, click, back a little bit, shift, click, back, shift, click, back, shift, click, in, spacebar, drop tool. So there's our little overflow. I'm going to go over to edges, slide, turn off duplicate. Sorry, just double key. It's just a bit. It's just a bit close to this top. I need some room to, in case we need to get anything else in there. And now it's same old for the bottom. We've got no idea where the trap sort of at the bottom is, so we'll put it maybe on this back piece instead of in the middle. It doesn't really matter where you stick it. Alt C. Okay, so we've got bevel B, click in the viewport, drag it in a bit, shift click, down a bit, shift click, down a bit more. Shift click, down a little bit, shift click, in a little bit, spacebar, drop tool. Okay. So this is going to be our sort of a generic type toilet bidet. Now we've got a little handle type flushy thing on the top. So we'll do these. I'm not really going to. Actually, no, we will put a little cover on there because we may have a close-up shot. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm just going to drag out a little disc. Now what we're going to do, we're going to just make a little, just a little cover really. So we're going to just basically put that on there. Now I'm going to do shift. This is all going to be done with the bevel, the magic of the bevel. So I've got it selected. I'm going to hit the B key. I'm going to click. I'm going to come up a tiny amount. Shift, click, up a bit more. Shift, click, in. That'll make a curve there. Shift, click. I'm going to bring it right in. Shift, click, in. Shift, click, up. I'm going to do spacebar now. And we hit W key. I'm going to move this. We're going to just try and do something a bit funky here. Let's make sure I haven't. We're going to select these polys here now. We need to be a bit careful. I'm going to get the W key and I'm going to just pull this back. I tell a lie. We'll do it at the end. That's going to make our life easier. I just thought what was going to happen after that, so we need to be mindful of where we're going with this. So I'm going to bring it up again. Shift click. Bring it out. Shift click. And I'm going to bring this one out. Yeah, this is one of them plugs. You know, you see them in like hotel bathrooms. Well, I know we haven't got one at home here in our cheap sink, but you might have one in your own sink. You know, you push the little plunger and the sort of the plug lifts up rather than having like a plug on a chain. So this is going to be a situation like that. But we're going to make this quite domey. With a flat top. So now, let's make sure I've got nothing selected. I'm just going to hit the. Let's get it in sync. So there's our plugs. We'll have a look. Okay, I'm liking that. Now we need to put a bit of rubber or something on there to make it. Firstly, this needs to be beveled to keep that edge. Just to keep a piece of weight there. I'm going to select that underneath section of polys. And I'm going to do Alt C and I'm going to click. I'm going to stick it on 3 just so I can move them. I'm going to move 1 up there and 1 say there. I'm going to select 2 and hit L to loop round. B key, click. Just bring it in a little bit. Click. Shift, click, and down. Shift, click, down, shift, click, spacebar drop tool. Okay, so that's going to be our little like rubber. You might not even ever see it, but in case we ever do a close-up shot from here, you know you are going to just see it. So, okay. I'm also going to grab that. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come over to the bath. I'm going to paste it. We're going to say reinventing the wheel. I'm going to stick that Now we have got some obviously some curvature in the bath, so we'll need to just fix that a little bit. I'm just going to scale them out. Now we're still going to get a bit of curvature, but nowhere near as much, so that'll suit that plug a lot better. So back over to our toilet. Okay, I'm happy with that. So that's the end of this part. When we come back, we'll finish off the handle, and then we're just going to duplicate this over and just make a lid just to fit on the top there. So I'll see you back for that part in a minute. Bye for now.